Hey, Kyle is wonderful here again with another wrestling review. This time it's NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance, Power and USA review from the week of June 24th, June 25th. If you're an all access member on Fight TV, then Power would have came out more like the 22nd for you. So I'm finding it a little bit difficult how to word which day it comes out. But if you noticed last week, I broke these two shows up in the separate reviews, but I thought about it, and USA is just too short of a show to kind of have its own review. That's really short review. So I'm gonna put these two together from now on. So Power will then from the week from like before USA, and then right when USA comes out, I'll release the review for the entire week. And we'll go like that for now. Eventually I'll probably be getting the all access on Fight because I'm just waiting until it's closer to the next pay-per-view. So so NWA Power for me on YouTube, it came out June 24th, and this is in Knoxville, Tennessee, 2 weeks after the Always Ready pay-per-view, so the second week in a row from the Knoxville tapings from a couple weeks ago now. Kyle Davis, the ring announcer guy, has Tyrus in the ring to start out Power, and Kyle says that Tyrus might have injured Big Strong Mims. So maybe this whole they talk about it a little bit throughout these two shows. I'm not sure if Big Strong Mims is if that's kayfabe or if he really is injured. I don't really ever hear news about NWA, so I haven't heard anything about Big Strong Mims, especially because there's like 80,000 injuries in AEW, and the NXT UK tag titles had to be dropped from an injury, and of course, all the other stuff like Cody Rhodes. So anyway, Tyrus says, let's have a moment of silence for Mims. If you remember, Tyrus did fight Mims, and that's what they're talking about. Tyrus injuring out Mims at the Always Ready pay-per-view. And I'm pretty sure it was for the title, for the TV title. Yeah, it was, because this whole promo is all about Tyrus then puts over how he's the reigning TV champ after the moment of silence for Mims, and says he just racked up the 7 title shots. So the lucky 7 rule that's been around for a little bit. And Tyrus, if he wants, can cash in the TV title for a world title shot. But who would do that to this beautiful title? Tyrus says. So Tyrus says, I've got 2 shoulders, so why not just have both titles? He talked to his lawyers, and they said that he doesn't have to follow the lucky 7 rule. And Tyrus says, I'm running out of mountains to climb, and I've got more. Um, I don't know what that means. Maybe I wrote that wrong, but he talks trash to the new world champion Trevor Murdoch by acting nice, but was just being facetious. So looks like Tyrus is going after Trevor Murdoch pretty soon here. We get a recap of Camille versus Kylan King at the Always Ready pay-per-view after that. And they showed probably a good 5 minutes of this, last 5 minutes of this match, and some of the ending. So if you didn't see Always Ready, you got to see a little bit here, which was pretty cool. That was a good match. Camille got the win with a big spear at the end, but Camille definitely got pushed in that match. So back on Power, Kyle introduces Camille. She comes out looking amazing. Camille then gets some chants from the crowd, and the crowd's pretty much positive towards Camille. Someone yells, I love you, and Camille tells him, I'm already married. So that was funny. Camille then brings up that she's been championing for over a year. She's defended against people like Layla Hirsch, Melina, Chelsea Green, Kylie Ray, and that's only the people she's fought in NWA. She's been defending this title all around the country. And then she tells the camera to zoom in on her chest. I noted this last week when she was having a promo. She's all bruised up throughout her chest. And that's all from Kylan King. So Camille says, I'm all damaged from that title match versus Kylan King. She gives Kylan props and says that was her toughest test so far. So really putting over Kylan King. So she calls out Kylan King, who comes out in her ring gear. Camille was just in her street clothes. And Camille asks why she's in her gear. And Candace says, because she's always ready. She didn't say it like that, but a little awkward with the bringing up the last pay-per-view. Anyway, Camille then shows a lot of respect toward Kylan. Kylan shows the same respect to her. And someone in the crowd says, "Well, just kiss." And Kylan has to yell at him to chill out. That was funny. Kylan then tells Camille that she will beat her the next time since I was so close the last time. And they leave this segment on good terms. We'll see if Kylan's the next one in line. I would prefer to see. I think maybe the number one contender is Natalie Markova. We'll see if she is the first one, or I mean the next one to fight Camille for the title, and then maybe after that Kylan will fight again. So I would prefer it to be that way. I don't like when a champion beat someone, even if it was close. You just lost. Someone else should have a turn at the champ, or a shot at the champion before you do have the next shot. So I would be completely fine with Kylan getting a shot after someone like Natalie Markova. And I know they're trying to build up Taya for a match too, Taya Valkyrie, who just won the first ever women's title in MLW to go with her triple A title. And then last week at Slammiversary and Impact, Taya Valkyrie also won the Knockouts tag title. So really a belt collector, the Kenny Omega of the women's division right now is and if you were here for my Always Ready review, you know that I was kind of calling Taya out for, in my opinion, looking a little unprofessional in her match against Natalie Markova. Of course, I could have been being worked. Nobody knows the truth, but except for the two people that were actually in the match. So anyway, going back to Power, like I said, they left on good terms, Camille and Kylan, and no word on when that match will be. But it looks like Camille wants to give Kylan another shot at the Mildred Burke title. So a graphic tells us that Tyrus and Scion versus the Ill Begotten is the main event of tonight's Power. And then May Valentine's in the back with Homicide. She asks if he heard Luke Cox's comments about feeling disrespected. If you remember at the Always Ready pay-per-view, there was a whole schmaz with all kinds of things going on, and it kind of looked like it was just Homicide helping the Mortons and stuff like that. So basically Luke Cox is feeling disrespected. Homicide says, "Come on, Luke, this ain't the time to be sensitive. We got bigger fish to fry around here." And Homicide says he'll defend the title against anyone in the world at any time. So that he's a fighting champion. So Homicide tells Luke to just chill basically in this promo. And Nick Aldis is now out for a match. She's got some great looking green, black, and gold pants. Really sharp ensemble here. Aldis looks fired up but annoyed as well. So he definitely can. You can, if you were been watching along, you could tell Aldis really wanted Cardona and the title both, and he got neither at the pay-per-view. So Nick Aldis out looking pissed off. Brett Buff Shea is the opponent. Brett Buff Shea. What a name. The announcer says we've seen Brett Buff Shea on NWA USA before, and he was teaming with Rodney Mack in that match. So all this starts fast with some really great grappling, like you would expect him to do. That's the kind of wrestling I love. More grappling, please. Brett isn't able to do anything against all this is superior grappling. Brett was trained at the Nightmare Factory, we're told, and all this has the match won without taking any damage. But all this lifts the shoulder 3 times in a row on pins where he could have beat Brett Buff Shea. So all this acting a little bit cocky, a little heelish here, and Brett gets a surprise roll up now, but only gets a 2. This makes all this mad with one big punch and a massive power bomb. Pretty much knocks out Brett Buff Shea. All this locks in the Kingsley Cloverleaf, and Brett taps immediately. So very heelish actings from all this here, but he gets a standing ovation from the crowd. So the crowd's loving um, the aggression and stuff out of Nick Aldis. Kyle Davis then runs into the ring with a microphone, and Kyle asks that, or basically says that wasn't very honorable, and that the title loss seems to be affecting you. Kyle says that Aldis. Aldis says that you could do everything right in the world and all that, and defend your title in 4 continents and all kinds of stuff, and just be the most stand-up guy you can possibly be, and none of it matters. All that matters is that you've got it. You make it. All it does is make you a target for all the suck ups and stooges that want to try and come get some of what I built. So kind of rubbing it in here on people like Matt Cardona coming into the company only because Nick Aldis, like Matt Cardona would have never came to NWA if Nick Aldis didn't make it what it was, kind of deal. So and among other people, you can even put Sam Shaw on that list. Yeah, I know Sam Shaw's been here before, so that one's not quite as good. But Sam Shaw coming right out of NXT and in his debut or in his return night getting a title match. So Kinda that's kinda the stuff that all this is not only mad that he didn't get Cardona in the title, he's mad that just in general, all these, people coming into what he built. So all this says that there are guys that are great, but nobody can touch me. Speaking of the world champion, congrats, Trevor Murdoch. But you know I had you with the figure four in the middle of the ring. You also know I had you with the cloverleaf in the middle of the ring. You got lucky, Trevor. So if you feel like upgrading from a paper champion to a real champion, you know where to find me. And the crowd boos that last part. They were along with all of Aldis's heel tactics by picking up the shoulder and stuff like that in the match. And then they were with Aldis throughout his entire promo here. But when he was starting to badmouth Trevor and say like uh paper champion stuff, so the crowd did not like that. The crowd boos and we go to an ad break. So then we come back, we see a recap from USA, and it was Sam Shaw beating Mercurio with the tap out with the silence. And in the ring, it's Kyle again. He's got the national champion, Jax Dane, the Dane event. And Dane has a great furry snakeskin vest on. Dane says, "Thanks for having me, and all of you are welcome. I sold out the arena because I'm the most dominant national champion ever. Nobody in the back has the guts to take this title from me. It's harder to become the national champion than the world champion these days." And then that brings out young Eric Jackson walking out to the ring. We've seen him a few times lately. I think he's super young, like 23, 24, and way smaller than Jack Stain, by the way, if you haven't seen Eric Jackson. So Eric puts his mean voice on and says he wants a title shot. He definitely wasn't like his real voice. He was definitely trying his best to act big and tough here to the twice as large Jack Stain. Dane says the last time we fought, it lasted a minute. Get out of here. Dane tries to then take a cheap shot right after saying that. Eric is able to dodge it, but Dane's way too big, and one shot takes down Eric Jackson, and he looks hurt off after one big shot. So we go to ad break, and now we've got Mae Valentine in the back with PJ Hawks, the son of Luke Hawks. And PJ says, "Oh, my father's upset, but I think it's just one big misunderstanding." Basically, that was it. But PJ's definitely telling the truth from what I saw. Like, there was no, like, it was just a big schmaz, and things were happening fast. Nothing was, like, personal within that. So PJ definitely sees the reality here. And then Luke Hawks is just too mad about it. So it's time for the main event, and it's going to be Alex Taylor and Jeremiah Plunkett, the ill begotten. No Danny deals with them tonight. And that's because the NWA forced a ruling for no seconds slash managers in this match, which means Scion and Tyrus cannot have Austin Idol with them either. And Scion and Tyrus come out now to Tyrus's music. The announcers still can't believe that Scion not only turned heel, but is Austin Idol's son, kayfabe. So Velvet Sky is much less annoying on the commentary this week. And maybe that's because she was just less annoying in general, or maybe it's because I've since the last week I've now heard what's her name? Lacey Evans on SmackDown commentary, which was 10 times worse than Velvet ever is. So Velvet was fine this week. And yeah, so this is our main event match for Power. We've got Scion and Alex Taylor going to start the match. And oh, before I did write a note, it took about 2 minutes for Tyrus and Scion to get to the ring, despite the ring being about 10, 15 feet from where the curtain starts. So that was funny. They just took forever. But the announcers say it's super quiet without those two managers out here, which was funny. And yeah, I'm pretty sure this is like straight up heels versus heels tag team match. And the crowd really doesn't know what to do about that. They're kind of quiet in this match because it's two heels. And Velvet says that Danny Dills is suing Medusa. So look for that in the future. And Scion controls Alex for a few minutes using his size. Plunkett tags in, who's much bigger than Alex. Now Scion's a little bit smaller, man. So just with that tag, Plunkett with a nice slingshot, and Taylor was able to grab the head on the slingshot into the ropes. That was a good move. And Taylor's back in now. The crowd's, like I said, dead because it's kind of a heel versus heel match here. Tyrus gets a boot to the back on a running Taylor, so Sion's able to get control, who hits a great suplex. And then they tell us Mims was hospitalized with a hurt shoulder and a concussion. I don't know if that's real. I hope not, but it kind of sounded kayfabe or fake to me. So like it's just storyline. but hopefully it's not real. But if it is, get well soon, Mims. And Tyrus then dominates Taylor. And once he gets in, works on the leg and tags out. Cyan comes back in, works on the leg even more. So they're just tearing apart Alex Taylor at this point. Cyan with a really nice looking half crab. Tyrus tags back in. We get a double team move on the leg of Taylor. So Taylor hasn't gotten any offense in for a while now. And Cyan's back in, stomps the eyes of Taylor. Taylor's just having a time of it. But now the crowd finally rallies behind Taylor, and that spurs a comeback. So all that beating down finally got the crowd to cheer for a heel Taylor here, and reluctantly, but Taylor gets the comeback and makes the hot tag to Plunkett, and Tyrus also got tagged in at the same time, so we get a little bit of a big hoss battle here. Plunkett hits Tyrus with a big DDT, but there was a blind tag, and Cyan comes in, hits a rolling DDT for the 1-2-3 on Plunkett, and then Austin Idol comes down to celebrate with Tyrus and Cyan. So pretty decent episode of Powerrr. Definitely furthering along some storylines. We got that storyline with the Hawks. Both Luke and PJ have differing views on the Homicide thing, while at the same time, Homicide also saying he's a fighting champion. He'll take on anyone. We got Tyrus saying that he's interested in going for the world title. He doesn't want to do the Rule 7 deal. We've got Nick Aldis calling Murdoch a paper champion. So we've got both Tyrus and Nick Aldis potentially going after the new champion, Murdoch, who I don't think Murdoch was in the plans to be champion, because remember it was Cardona versus Aldis. So they're kind of went off the beaten path of what storyline they were going to write. So we could get anything coming up here. Another thing to note is Jax Dane looks to be. He said that it's harder to get his national championship than it is to get the world title, which could in fact be true. So a lot of moving pieces here, a lot of good stuff to look forward to. Homicide's been a great junior heavyweight champion, or whatever they call it, light heavyweight. I've been watching way too much New Japan lately, but yeah, good stuff going on. Let's go right into USA now. Like I said, I'm just going to combine these two shows from now on. USA usually only lasts a half hour and has like two matches, so I think it's just better to put these two shows together. Look at, I went through Power and it's only 17 and a half minutes in. So let's go through USA now. If you're interested, that comes out every Saturday at noon, whether you're on YouTube or on the Fight app. So that's basically means I'll be on every Saturday around 12:30, 12:35 is when I was able to get on today. So around 12:30, right after USA, come on over to the review. We could talk about it live, and we could even go even longer if we have people in here asking questions and we're all talking amongst each other. So um, that's my plan anyway. So come on back 12:30 next week, and I'll be here live. But anyway, let's talk about USA. It was also taped a couple weeks ago in Knoxville, and out first, making his debut, is Thrillbilly Silas. Yes, I said Thrillbilly. And as soon as he comes out from the curtain, he's got a bottle of he's got like a Gatorade bottle, and he's chewing or dipping into it. So Thrillbilly spits into his chew bottle, and I don't know if maybe he maybe it's only a gimmick and he doesn't chew much, or he did it on purpose, but he just gets spit and chew all over his chin, kind of like maybe did it on purpose because that's how like Terry Funk used to be and stuff like that. But anyway, Thrillbilly Silas has a manager, Pollo Del Mar, and kind of an oddball pairing here. She seems to be a trans woman, kind of with like the makeup style that you would find on RuPaul's Drag Race. So I'm not. They were calling her a her, so I'm just gonna call her a her. I didn't know they never told me anything about her being trans or anything. It just that's what it looked like and stuff. So apologies if I offend anybody, but that's what I saw. And then Thrillbilly's music is kind of like disco or early Michael Jackson, which doesn't totally go with his hillbilly spit and chew gimmick. Maybe that was Pollo Del Mar's music. It fit her a little bit more than him. But anyway, uh, Pollo takes the spit bottle and keep keep that in note for later. Jeez. So anyway, Luke Cox is gonna be the opponent here, and I swear he looks the same age as his son, or like only 5, at the most 5 years older. So Thrillbilly has the height and weight advantage in this match, but Luke Hawx is definitely in better shape. So we'll see if his conditioning and speed and agility can win the day. Thrillbilly claims Luke was pulling his hair right at the start of the match, so he gets some heat from the crowd, shows everybody he's a heel, and we get a scoop slam by Thrillbilly. That gets a 1 count, and then Thrillbilly calls the crowd trash. So Luke takes over now, and Thrillbilly's looking winded already. So it didn't take long for the conditioning to come in the factor here. Boots and chops in the corner, really, really loud chops from Luke Hawx, really good stuff. A really nice looking headbutt that made a really loud sound. Maybe he slapped his leg or something at the same time. I didn't quite tell. But Thrillbilly with a really nice headbutt and made a loud sound. And then Thrillbilly with one of the best moves in this match, a huge lariat. And somehow after those two moves, Luke Hawx kicks out at one. So Thrillbilly then hit some really weak looking punches. So not a good those weak looking punches right after his huge lariat wasn't a good look. Luke gets back into control with just one big punch. Poil Del Mar's getting a little worried on the outside side, and she's screaming something to Thrillbilly. That then it gets Thrillbilly the advantage again. He turned and hits a move, but um, and he turns it around with a hot shot onto the top rope and an elbow drop. Thrillbilly makes the cover, and Luke kicks out again at one. So what is going on here? Luke Hawx just on fire here. Poil de- so if you're eating, you might not want to hear this part. Poil Demar then gets on the apron. She takes the chewing tobacco from her mouth, puts it into Thrillbilly's mouth, and then they kiss. I don't know why, but that happened. And then when Thrillbilly Silas turns back around, he eats a spinning heel kick from Luke Hawx. 1, 2, 3. That's the end of the match. And Luke Hawx really wants to fight Homicide. That's what the announcers say. But we've already known that. I'm just saying Luke Hawx didn't get on the microphone or anything. So May Valentine's backstage. Let's quickly move on from the ending of that match. May Valentine's backstage with Chris Salvio, Esquire. Chris said he's here for an assault case. Some young punk kid named Eric Jackson put his hands on the Dane event, Jax Dane. So Chris Silvio tells us that Eric Jackson put my client in danger, and the kid was rewarded with a title shot. What has he done? Who is he beaten? So he says, Billy Corgan, this match is not happening. And we immediately go from that to a graphic saying uh, that match is indeed happening, which was hilarious. So we go to an ad break. When we come back, it's the Church's Money Black G's and Austin Idol in the back with May Valentine. And she asks, what's the nature of their business agreement, or I mean, arrangement? And Idol says, perfect, perfect. It sounded weird, but he went out and found the best option, someone I could trust. This is Idol talking. And it's a terrible promo from Austin Idol. They couldn't have reshot this to get something a little bit better. I was having trouble understanding what was even going on that Austin Idol was so bad at this promo. But anyway, Black G's much better at his stuff. He says, Black G's says ever since he walked into NWA, he's had a plan, and that plan has been working. And then Idol can't remember his line, or he's just really too slow in his mind to be doing stuff like this. No offense or anything. It's just if you're not good at something, don't do it. Idol and then Black G's start disagreeing. The main point of the disagreement is that Idol thinks he's above Black G's, and all Black G's wants is to be even. So, I mean, I guess that makes sense. We got an old white guy here, acting like he's above, and and the younger black guy only wants to be even. So I guess that makes sense. I don't know why it's here in a wrestling show, but we'll find out where this story goes. So we go to an ad break, and then it's going to be Eric Jackson for the national heavyweight title out next, even though Eric Jackson is clearly not a heavyweight. I don't know. I don't understand how that was. I don't understand why that's allowed. Is the national heavyweight title an open weight title? Let me know if I'm wrong about that, but it's called the national heavyweight title. Anyway, Eric Jackson's out the big cheers. This is not going to last long or be pretty. Jax Dane, the Dane event, is out with the national heavyweight title. Big boos for Dane. And I write down immediately before the match even starts, I wish NWA would keep the weight divisions a lot stricter. Sure, you can have open weight matches here and there and stuff, and even have an open weight title, but it seems like a lot of the matches that we got this week were light heavyweights versus heavyweights. So, Dane doesn't even take off his furry vest. his furry snake skin vest. And Eric finds it tough to find any momentum in this match. He's like, Jack Stane is over a foot taller and like 150 pounds heavier or something like that. So Eric is able to dodge a few big moves, but never stays in control long. Maybe gets a kick or a punch in, and Jack Stane goes back in control. The match is all Jack Stane, who picks apart Eric slowly, so it's not even that fun or good storytelling per se. It's just a squash match at a slow pace. Jax maintains wrist control and hits multiple lariats. That looked nice. Eric's still able to get up, but a really nasty running lariat ends the match. That running lariat was way better than the one from Hillbilly or whatever that guy's name was, Silas. What the heck was his name? Thrill Billy. My bad. But yeah, we got a massive lariat, running lariat ends this match. Thankfully, this match was not pretty, so Jack Stane wins with ease. What was the point of all that? Somebody let me know. And some of the crowd even because the reason like I say that is some of the crowd was even starting to cheer Jack Stane towards the end because it was so one-sided that they were just like almost so bored that they just wanted to see Eric get killed at that point, even though Eric was the massively over babyface coming into this match. It was so one-sided that they just wanted Jax to kill him at the end. So unless you're trying to turn Jack Stane face, what was the point of that? So Dane refuses to slap hands with any kids ringside, which made me laugh, and USA ends. So not a very good episode of USA, I would say. The Austin Idol, just that promo was terrible, and I don't understand the point of the main event. It doesn't elevate Eric Jackson whatsoever. He got zero offense in and looked like a bum against. I mean, sure, it was a much larger man, but what does it really do for anybody? One thing we found out is Chris Silvio doesn't have any power to do anything because he said this match isn't going to happen, and then it happened. And then I did like what I saw seen out of Luke Hawx. So Luke Hawx is a great wrestler. I guess I wouldn't mind seeing Thrill Billy again. I just don't want to ever see that putting chew in from one mouth to another person's mouth and then kissing kind of thing ever again in my life. And sorry, I brought it up for a second time, but yeah, overall, I like what I've been seeing in the NWA. You never know what you're gonna see. I really miss Gags the Gimp. So hopefully Gags the Gimp can come back next week. He's the example of what I would say that NWA isn't like. A lot of people might think NWA is this stodgy, nothing but grappling and no characters whatsoever. But then you got guys like Gags the Gimp and Thrill Billy, and last week on USA it was Mercurio, who was a former not like sex novel cover guy like Fabio, but like a failed one because he didn't even look that good. So there is some good stuff along with the. I love that the NWA has a legitimate, not only heavyweight division but a super heavyweight division. You got people like Jack Stane and Tyrus, but then you've also got people that aren't that much smaller than them, like a Nick Aldis and a Tom Lattimore, and I'm forgetting others, but there's at least 15 like legitimate, like super heavyweight almost type you can call them, 20 like legitimate heavyweights, which is why I don't understand why we're having so many heavyweight versus light heavyweight battles. Like I understand you got to keep your heavyweight strong at points and give them a squash match against the light heavyweights doesn't really kill your light heavyweight because it's against the bigger guy. I understand all that, but all you got to really do is go out and hire like 3 or 4 jobbers that are really big, like really big guys that you can beat all the time. You know what I mean? Have them beat each other here and there so it doesn't look like they're complete wastes. But then anytime you need like Jack Stane to get a big win, he could beat one of those 6'7", 290-pound jobbers that you have on the roster. So that's what I would do if it was me. Other than that, no real complaints. I love everything with Camille, and I already was a fan of Kylan King before I got into NWA. So I'm really looking forward to that. I like all the Black G's stuff when he talks. Just get away from Austin Idol, bro. But yeah, I'm gonna get going, and you can check out all kinds of other reviews on here. I just added MLW this week. MLW was really crazy. So if you're a fan of NWA, I would suggest maybe go try a little bit of MLW. It's also an hour show on YouTube. You can find it on their YouTube page. So I'll talk to you guys next time, and I'll be here at 12:30, 12:35 next Saturday, right after USA, and I'll be talking about both Powerrr and USA. So thanks for joining, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.